Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Tony Ganem, and I have Merritt Robinson on the other side here. Uh,
Hello.
Merritt is a personal trainer in the Orange County area, and we thought it might be a great idea that to focus on health right now in this crisis that we're going through with the coronavirus. As I mentioned to a lot of my patients, there's a scary situation going on, and we do have to give it a lot of respect. We don't have to panic, and I hope that people continue to live their lives. But we definitely have to give it respect. The medical system is acting at their highest level. This is exactly why we have a medical system for emergency situations like this. But it is not their ownership to take care of your everyday health. It is your ownership to take care of your everyday health. And so many of you are not feeling that kind of an illness going on right now. And it is my job as a healthcare practitioner to teach people. That's what the word doctor means anyways, to be a teacher, to teach people not only how to be healthy, but to be healthy. This is while they're developing vaccines and developing medications that are going to kill these things, you need to be developing health in your body to stop this thing from ever taking hold. So I invited Merritt on today to kind of talk a little bit about some of the lifestyle parts that we need to be considering in some people are staying at home right now, and most people are, and we don't want bad lifestyle habits to start to creep in. We want to definitely continue to find ways to exercise. And so I've got Merritt here today, and I thought what I'd first start with, if it's okay, Merritt, I'm going to just kind of talk about what the coronavirus is and kind of what our immune system does. And then I want to kind of move over to you, if that's okay, if you got a few
Please do.
moments, okay?
Yes.
All right, so let me just kind of share my screen for a moment. And I have a little presentation that I have here called Staying Healthy in a World with COVID-19. This is the coronavirus. Corona means crown, and you can kind of see why they call it a crown or coronavirus. It is a special kind of virus, but actually that's not the name of the virus. The name of the virus is actually the SARS-CoV. CoV2, that's what it's called, SARS-CoV-2. It's a relative of the SARS virus that we had in earlier decades. And when it gets into the body, that's when it's actually called COVID-19. So when you're infected, it's actually called COVID-19. But prior to that, it's actually called SARS-CoV-2. It's another version of the coronavirus. We have many different coronaviruses. I think this is the 7th one that has been identified. The common cold is one of the coronaviruses. People don't know that, but it is. And they have a lot of commonalities. And one of the commonalities is they love to attack the respiratory pathways. And they also have this corona around them. Therefore, they're called coronaviruses. So I want to talk about what a virus is. A virus is a very, 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 very tiny molecular particle, and it's way smaller than any kind of bacteria that you've ever encountered in your life. That's one of the major differences. I've heard it said that if the bacteria were the size of the Empire State Building, a virus would be the size of a ping pong ball. And so obviously in size, they definitely have a difference. That's one of the differences. That's not the main difference, but size does matter here because bacteria have a hard time getting in through pores. They come in through openings and wounds of the body. Viruses, they can enter by way of the pores. And so that's one of the differences between a virus and a bacteria. Let me show you another one. Here is another major difference between a bacteria and a virus. A bacteria is alive and therefore it can be killed. A virus has never had life at all. A virus is a little tiny particle that when it enters in through the pores, and it doesn't enter in by kind of fighting its way in, it actually is so small it enters through your pores and gets into your bloodway, it can have effects on the rest of your body. Once it's in the bloodway, it can go into your tissues, and once in the tissues, it can actually go into your cells. And what a coronavirus is an RNA virus. So this is what it kind of looks like when you take away its shine. It is a piece of genetic material called RNA, much like our DNA. It's RNA, and it has a protein wrapper around it, and it has some spikes in the corona case. So this is kind of, if you take away the beauty of this and you kind of make it look like any other virus, it's going to be one that has genetic material, a protein envelope, and in this case, some spikes that are going to interact with our cells in the body. And much like a floppy disk doesn't have a life, but a floppy disk has information. When a virus gets into your body, it can actually convince your cells that its information is your information. Now, there's a problem here. First of all, the virus, when it gets into your tissues and then trying to get into your cells and your tissues, it doesn't try to do anything. Your cells actually notice that the receptors, or the proteins on the surface of this COVID-19, for example, look similar to some of the chemicals it was looking for. And when it attaches to these spikes, it actually sucks it in. And then all of a sudden, this RNA virus is inside of your cells, right next to your genetic material, your DNA. And your cells have this DNA, and with this DNA, they actually send off what's called messenger RNA, which is what this is, an RNA, which is just a little bit of just a little slight difference from the DNA, sends it to what are called the ribosomes, where you make copies of things and then produce on the other side of this some proteins or some products. So that's what our DNA does every day inside of our cells. So like, for example, your heart cells might make some heart tissue in here, or your skin cells might make fibroblasts and other chemicals that they make for the skin, some oils, etc. From your DNA, your body knows to replicate some of that stuff and make skin products, for example. In the lungs, the same thing. Well, in the lungs, though, if we have this virus that has come in with genetic material, it wants to take over the Xerox machine and make its own products, and convinces your cells to do that, essentially pirating the same equipment to make its products. And essentially now all of a sudden these cells are going to be full of new versions of this virus and viral products, to the point where it starts crowding out the cells and eventually potentially breaking out of the cells and into the tissues and potentially into the bloodstream. And that can it can go system-wide at that point. And that's where our immune system says, hey, some damage is going on in the tissue, and our immune system comes to the rescue to kind of get rid of this. And there's an entire beautiful cascade of things that happen when the body does this. Essentially, you'll call that inflammation. That's when the immune system comes in and says, I'm going to not only swallow you and shoot bullets at you to break you up. Notice I didn't say kill it, because it doesn't have any life. You might be able to kill the cells that are reproducing it, but you can't kill something that doesn't have life. But while the immune system comes to swallow it up and then recruits other members of the immune system to come shoot chemical bullets, you then get an immune response that can cause swelling, inflammation, fever, and some of the things that you might eventually feel, like mucus production and things like that. And that's all part of the immune response. And apparently what's bothering people, or gets people in the end the most here with COVID-19, is your own immune response becomes overly aggressive. And so you need to make sure that you have a strong but tolerant immune response. So that's essentially what happens here. I think there are a few things I want to talk about. Number one, going kind of back to the beginning here, what we want to do is never let the coronavirus get into our tissues. And one of the ways we do that is constantly hand washing, constantly making sure that we do not introduce this virus into our mucous membranes. And our mucous membranes are our nose, our mouth, our eyes. Those are the easiest places to put it. So anytime you sneeze or cough, or anyone around you sneezes or coughs, or you pick up something that somebody else might have touched earlier, it's going to be a really good idea to use soap and hot water, and hand sanitizers is a second choice in this situation. But I think the first and foremost thing is to avoid it in the first place. And I think the second thing you want to do is just always have a potent and ready immune system to be able to fight and protect you. And it's never been about treating a disease. It's always been about making sure you've amplified your health in the first place. And so that's what I'm on here to do today, is to encourage you today to live a healthy lifestyle, to protect yourselves from this virus, but to also boost your health so that your amazing health can overcome the conditions in which a virus is going to want to take hold. And so I'm going to talk to you about a few things aside from the things I've already mentioned, the hand washing and constantly protecting yourself, wearing a mask if you have one already. If you don't have one, don't go buy them, because healthcare practitioners are the ones that really need those right now. And they're definitely short in supply. So Merritt, do you have any things that you want to kind of share with everybody right now?
I agree with you with everything you said. Continue to wash your hands. Stay focused on your health through diet, exercise. Stay active. Continue to be proactive with any disease, anything that you're trying to fight off a cold or through diet and exercise. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're 100% everything, and thank you for sharing this. What the virus is, because you've taught me something right there. I mean, it's like I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
thank you for teaching me that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got it. Absolutely. I think one of the things that's a misnomer is that people think eating healthy is simply the absence of bad things. You know, you could fast, and that doesn't mean you're eating healthy, right? But you are avoiding bad things when you fast. And not that fasting is a bad thing. In this case, that there are definitely some really good reasons to do some fasting. For example, if you don't bring in a ton of food, you don't have a lot of energy for the viruses to replicate, for example. I think it's really interesting that just for a quick aside for a moment, and I want to get back to what eating healthy means, that even when your immune system releases certain chemicals to cause a fever, the fever stops the Xerox machines. And when you're sick, you don't feel very hungry. And the reason you don't feel very hungry is because your body's trying to basically lower the amount of energy for the virus to replicate. And so your body has a lot of wisdom. But getting back to eating healthy does not just mean removing bad things. It actually means eating amazing things, especially colorful things, vegetables especially. And I'm not talking about Jello. I'm talking about colorful as in the different species, the different types of plants, the different kinds of greens. You know, if you eat leafy greens, get the purples and the greens and the different types of colors provide different antioxidants. If you're eating carrots, make sure you're getting different colors. If you're eating tomatoes, get different colors. And you want to make sure they're organic as much as possible right now. And so there is a service that I want to talk about. I know that people are not wanting to go out and get their foods right now. And even if they do, you know, if they've been touched by somebody else, that could be a problem. So definitely wash your vegetables again right now with disinfecting soaps and things like that if they have any kind of an outside to the vegetables. And then rinse them thoroughly, of course, because we don't want that soap in us either. But I would say that farmfreshtoyou.com is a delivery service that is still delivering right now. And butchersbox.com is a service that's delivering meat right now. And these are both going to be organic and pesticide free and grass fed when it comes to the animals. Butcher's Box actually has chicken as well and pork as well, because we don't want more chemicals in our body. We don't want our immune system to fight a virus and these chemicals at the same time. And a lot of these chemicals cause oxidation in our body, and our white blood cells called neutrophils are already going to be pushing out a lot of oxidative chemicals to kind of deal with the virus. So we don't want high levels of oxidation in our body, which is why we want as organic as possible. Drinking tremendous amounts of water. People don't realize the effect on water, but it has what's called a hydrolytic effect on killing things. The body uses water to destroy some things too. So high amounts of water, your body's a high percentage of water. If you want a healthy body, you better put inside of it the constituents that every cell needs, and water and nutrients and oxygen are the three most important constituents of the body. But staying healthy also means that we are doing things to build our health. For example, exercise is one of the things that we do to build our health. And although currently we are allowed to maybe go outside to do a little bit of exercise and definitely stay away from people distancing. But Merritt, I wondered if you had any ideas of how people might be able to continue to exercise and stay healthy in their homes.
The first thing I would like for everybody to do is get up in the morning, set a schedule, make a schedule for yourself. I'm going to get up every morning and I'm going to take a walk outside, meaning if that's a half hour, an hour, 45 minutes, break it up every day. Don't do an hour every day. You want to change things, you know, keep your body thinking, keep your body moving. So go for a walk first thing in the morning, get that done out of the way, because you're going to say, oh, I'll do it later. Later never comes.
Mm-hmm.
So do it now. Get up, get dressed, brush your teeth, do your morning routine, whatever it is. Get up, you and your partner go out, go for a walk, have fun, laugh. Through this crazy time, we need to laugh too, don't forget. It brings our stress levels down. It brings all of our levels down to what we can handle. So you can sit down, stand up, get a chair, do some functional movement, sit down. You're sitting in the chair, your feet are flat on the floor, your ankles and knees are in line. You're going to stand straight up. Don't touch anything. Use your muscles, use your legs. Stand up, sit down, do that 10 times. Do that for 100 reps. You know, break it up throughout the day. You don't have to do them all at one time. Get your heart rate up. You know, walk in place. If you can't get outside, you can if you're watching TV, you got a commercial coming on, you got probably 4 or 5 commercials coming on. March in place, do some jumping jacks, run in place, move. Don't stop moving. You need to continue to move. You need to continue to keep the joints moving. You know, do some overhead presses, you know, raise the roof. Okay, I got a water tray in my hand. I'm going to push up and come back down. Mobility, movement. Keep moving, please.
Mm-hmm.
And you talked about, Tony, you talked about water. Water is very important. You need to set yourself up. I do a gallon a day. That's a lot for some people. Some people can't even do a liter. But try to increase your water. Increasing your water, just like Tony said, sets you back to zero, flushes the body out, flushes the toxins out.
Absolutely. And right now, multivitamins might be a really good thing to have. Usually, I encourage people to eat their vitamins to get the nutrients by way of foods, and to take multis if you want. But right now, I would say some of the most important nutrients you could be consuming definitely start with water and vitamin C. Vitamin D, zinc, vitamin A, and vitamin E are the most important. And there are some herbal concoctions that people are using to kind of empower their immune system, or for example, to make their lungs stronger. But I couldn't agree with you more. Rest, hydration,
Yes.
movement, and I loved what you said about you know, spending, maybe being in not panicking and being around others. There is a chemical that is produced by the body called interleukin 6, which causes a chemical called C-reactive protein to go up in the body, which is one of the chemicals that is produced by your immune system when it's fighting this. And that's actually the chemical that causes a lot of the big stuff with coronavirus. So your body makes this chemical called interleukin 6 that has a lot of consequences, but one of the things it does is fight these kinds of immune issues. But the counter interleukin 6, the one that kind of keeps things in balance, the way to counter it, one of the ways is prayer, another is meditation, and another is love. That feeling that you get when you hug somebody close to you in your house, not outside, or love on somebody, that feeling that you get produces chemicals that lower your interleukin 6, so that you don't have these system-wide reactions that so many people are suffering from when they have these reactions to the COVID-19. I loved what you had to say. Mary, you also specialize in exercise for people who have Parkinson's as well?
That's correct. That's correct.
And Parkinson's is a neurodegenerative condition that you know, is people are still trying to figure out all of it, but essentially one of the things it's tied to is pesticides, herbicides, and chemicals that we get exposed to as well. Movement is so important in keeping that brain working well.
Yes.
Movement, love, good nutrition, these are things that help us boost our health in moments where we could automatically fear and hide in a corner and hope that the virus doesn't take us. But the hope is that you're building a body that fights really, really hard and overcomes. And then teaching this to your kids. I mean, there's never been a better time to look to your kids and teach them the reasons to always, you know, wash your hands, sanity, nutrition, you know, and lack of stress. We are in a crazy society. It's amazing to me that one of the solutions to dealing with this is a kind of stay at home with your family kind of solution. Love conquers all, and this is one of the things that might be able to conquer as well. So, Merritt, do you have anything else you want to share with everybody online?
This was fantastic. Just like you said, just let's love each other, support each other, especially our seniors right now. They call them up if you can't see them. Call them up, email, text, do whatever you can. Do some FaceTime. Love on everybody. Keep your stress levels down. Hydration. Continue to keep that hydration up. Stay away from the sugary foods. Stay away from inflammatory foods. Our body's already fighting some things off right now, so stay away from those foods.
Yeah.
Move. Yeah. Please do not stop moving, especially for the Parkinson's. That community there. Big steps, big movements, and move. Hydrate, health, healthy eating, healthy movement. Fantastic. Thank you, Tony.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Merritt, if people want to get a hold of you, how would they go about doing that?
RobinsonTraining1@gmail.com. That's ROBINSON training, TRAINING, 1, the number 1 @gmail.com, or 619-708-9534. 619-708-9534.
Awesome. And my information is info@bodypro.com, info@bodypro.com, or 714-210-2827. And I'm really glad we had the chance to do this. Let's keep spreading the word. You know, viruses are very contagious. I want health to be even more contagious.
Yes, they are.
Spread this word.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody. It was good talking to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.